Hi there, this is Pete Howard, the Director of Concert Posters for Heritage Auctions.
And I'm Garry Shrum, the Director of Music here at Heritage Auctions. And we have some great posters to share with you today.
Boy, do we ever. Just take a look at what's right here in the easel to start off the video. These are two like grand slam home runs of concert posters. It's no coincidence they're going first. And we are telling you today about the David Swartz concert poster collection, which we're so excited about, coming up Thursday, May 11th. Mr. Swartz, Gary's done his vinyl records already.
Incredible collection.
Yeah, incredible collection, did really well. And David, as you perhaps have seen online and so forth, has the best concert poster collection in the world. I've known him for a generation, and you know, we've stayed friends and all this stuff, and we're just so happy that he's coming forward and giving us some of his posters.
That's some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, just really world class, and so we're thrilled to death. And as you can see for these first two examples, oh my gosh, I mean, you know, come on, the BG 105 Jimi Hendrix Flying Eyeball. I mean, it's a masterpiece and a monster of psychedelic poster art, and it's got two beyond elements to it in the 9.8 grade and signed beautifully in gold pen by the artist Mr. Rick Griffin. It's just a monster piece.
Stunning.
Yeah, everybody loves this image.
It's the best condition one we've ever had for auction.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, anybody has ever had for auction. There's
Really?
never even been a 9.6 auctioned off.
Oh my gosh.
And we leapfrogged that, and we're hitting with the world's first 9.8. So this is incredible, you know, investment grade quality and everything, and it's going to be on the cover of Mr. Swartz's catalog. It's just a fantastic piece. So that starts this video off in great fashion. And Gary, what's there next to you?
Chuck Berry and Lloyd Price, the beginnings of rock and roll. And to find a poster this old in this type of condition, it's spectacular. But look at that shot of Chuck. That's just amazing. He's just a young kid, and he is jamming. Look at the guitar.
What kind of guitar is that?
You know, I can't tell from here.
Okay, yeah, but he was in the studio with a guitar early on, and this is 1957. So any Chuck Berry 50s concert poster where he's not just another face in a caravan is very special indeed. And then of course it has Maybelline, his song that started it all in 1955. School Days up here. Hail, hail, rock and roll, deliver me from the days of old. That's what everything here
It's the beginnings of rock and roll. It's just screaming cool.
Absolutely, and it's the only one known to exist from any city. Up here, as you can see, it's from Seattle, but they'd print this in later. So we're starting off here, as you can see this video, with a fantastic cardboard boxing style and psychedelic graded posters. So amazing stuff.
And more to come.
And more to come for sure. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and put these down here and bring up some other things to show y'all. And oh, Gary, ooh, look at these psych beauties, huh? So this is Grace Slick of the Great Society, and this is BG 25. For some reason, is a really rare concert poster. We think Bill Graham underprinted them, and of course, it's the 13th floor elevators with their first ever Bay Area appearance, Gary. So Wes Wilson left the S off of elevators. He wasn't even sure of the band name, but Rocky Erickson and the gang were, rolling into San Francisco, but instead of putting Rocky's picture, they took the most beautiful person on the stage and used her
on the planet at that time.
Absolutely.
Stunning woman.
Yeah, stunning woman and a stunning image. And to have it in the 9s is just messed up. That's just great. So that's a beautiful poster. And I know you love that one.
Oh, with this one, look at the opening band, Jimi Hendrix. You know, Jefferson Airplane is the headliner. What a show that must have been at that time. Can you imagine what the crowd was thinking? Fabulous.
Exactly. Imagine Hendrix playing under Gabar Szabo, the jazz guy.
And I bet he was loving it, just going, oh my gosh, this guy's incredible.
Probably, any guitarist, absolutely in the place. And what's interesting is they didn't even give Jimmy the respective experience. They just put his name in, but we don't have room for experience. There's this guy. We'll just put his name.
He might have been a last ad. Who knows?
Yeah, could have been. Well, a matter of fact, this was the few days after Monterey Pop. When this poster was printed, nobody had heard of Jimi Hendrix, practically, except for Hey Joe on the radio. But he became a star Sunday night, and then he was the third. I'll bet all week long, he didn't play third. I'll bet they moved him up the bill at least past Gabor Szabo. And maybe even the Airplane said, whoa, we're not going to follow Jimmy. We'll let him close the show.
Oh, exactly.
I don't know, but...
And a 9.8.
Oh, 9.8. That's the thing about Mr. Swartz's collection. The grades, there are so many 9.6s and 9.8s. It's just crazy. It's just the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, whatever. That's what David collected, and that's what we're working through today to show you. This, of course, is only a small selection of what's going to be in the sale, but Gary and I just picked the highlights to show you, and they're so much fun. Well, here's another 9.8 from a masterpiece of a poster, The Velvet Underground, as presented by Andy Warhol at the short-lived Trip on Sunset Strip in Hollywood. And what a beautiful psychedelic poster with that Newsweek cover.
Oh yeah,
huh?
the Newsweek cover just makes it, and the pop, it just, exciting.
Yeah, it's such a special poster that in 9.6, we received $45,000 last year, and this is a 9.8. That shows how respected and loved this poster is. Even has some Andy Warhol art down here, and the look of the Campbell's kids down there. And the Trip was a short-lived venue. The whole thing is just a Hollywood Sunset Strip pop culture masterpiece.
Yeah, little piece of history that happened then, and here it is. You can have it on your wall.
Yeah.
Is that cool or what?
Yeah.
And then the Pink Floyd and Big Brother and Richie Havens. Wow, what a unique piece of artwork. Of all the Fillmore posters, this is unique on its own.
Yeah, it's quite special. Floyd were scheduled to play 3 straight weekends at the Fillmore. First one they didn't play at all because of visa problems, whatever. The second one they played one night, and the third one they played all 3 nights. So some people care if the musicians played on their posters. Others want the best looking art, and so it's a fun merry-go-round to try to figure those things out.
It's got a nice story to tell people about.
Absolutely.
That's a 9.8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And here's another 9.8, and this is really early. I mean, BG3, for heaven's sake. This is Wes Wilson's, roller alphabet art. And to have a BG3 from the spring of 1966 and 9.8 is just crazy. So that's a real gem. Oh, and there's another Floyd ski, right?
Another Floyd, Procol Harum, and H.P. Lovecraft. Very cool artwork.
And is that a 9.8, Gary?
That's a 9.9.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Getting close to a 10, but not quite there.
Well, we want to remind video watchers there are almost no 9.9s and 10s. They're almost flukish and freakish.
Yeah.
9.8 is really the top that all the collectors and
top
everybody
dog,
shoots for.
really is.
Any nudge up from that is a bonus, but it is amazing to see that gold 9.9 up there on a Pink Floyd concert poster just from 1967. So just another example of amazing stuff here. So let's move away for just a second from the psychedelic stuff, but here's a graded piece. Anything in the art of rock can be graded, and this is a key piece. I know Gary's seen it a lot. We've all seen it a lot. It's the Dylan Baez Spring 1965 tour blank, and to get this graded in a 9.6, this is the first graded copy that Heritage is ever selling, and to get it above 9.5 is just crazy good. And it's to Louise, how do you pronounce that? To Louise Lautrec inspired artwork.
Yeah. That's
so popular, and it's in great shape if it's 9.6.
Yeah, that's spectacular.
It's a beautiful piece, absolutely.
And for all you Eric Clapton and Cream fans, look at
Oh
this
my
poster.
gosh.
Is this a Scream cool?
From my neck of the woods, Santa Barbara, California, and we know who that is.
At Robertson Gym.
Yeah, at the gym on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Springsteen played there too in the mid-'70s, so it was a good place for concerts. But this poster has so much going for it, Gary, and all the little details, like you've got the caveman from BC, and little hidden, there's Snoopy saying something cool.
A little peace sign over here, a little marijuana leaf hanging down here.
Yeah, it's wonderful psychedelic concert poster art, total one-off, of course, used only once. Eric Clapton, and yet instead of saying Gretsch or something like that here, it just says guitar. So the poster artist was having himself a ball. And of course, Electric Flag was the opening act. No slouches in themselves, so that's a really special poster.
Wonderful.
Speaking of really special, can you pass the acid test? I don't know. Here's a poster to find out with, though. How about Grateful Dead in 1965, about 3 minutes after they changed their name from the Warlocks? And that's what this poster is. And in a weird, funny sort of way, this is a tour blank, because down here is where they would fill in, Muir Beach or Palo Alto or the Fillmore even. But what's funny about this poster, Gary, is that it was easier to print it this way, but it instructs people to take scissors and cut along the dotted line and put this half on top of this half. And so, you'd read here, it just says, the acid test and happeners are likely to include. Then you have the talent here, and you've got Allen Ginsberg and, the Merry Pranksters, Neil Cassidy, and then there they are, the Grateful Dead, the world's first Grateful Dead concert poster.
Yeah, this is spectacular. And a 9.4.
Oh, 9.4 is just beautiful.
Just to find the poster, period, is so rare to find it in this kind of condition.
Yeah, it's a very special piece. And it's interesting, it was always only good for 6 days because the poster itself said in printing, coming this Saturday night at, and so you couldn't post it more than 7 days ahead of time or they'd show up on the wrong Saturday night. So this was definitely an immediate poster, if you will. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Want to put this one up now?
Yeah.
This one always knocks me out because the art is so detailed in it. This had to take days, if not weeks, to create.
Yeah,
the artist was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a Lee Conklin masterpiece, and notice he signed it down here, which is really nice contrast against the black. But 9.8? Wow, are you kidding? But Gary knows, the artwork is so compelling that Santana used it for their debut album cover the next year.
Yep.
Yeah, and immortalized it forever. And we did sell one previous 9.8 on this one and got $32,000, which got the poster community really buzzing and everything, as the big heavy art collectors are stepping up now to get this stuff.
Exactly.
Not just us music geeks who saw Santana in concert way back in the day.
People are finally realizing how rare these posters are. They didn't print up tons and tons of them. And to last this long in good condition without pinholes and tears, we see it all the time. We see people approaching us with all kinds of posters, but we can't take them in because somebody's written their name on them, or the corners are missing, or they're just too tattered.
That's
to
right.
find a 9.8, unbelievable.
In fact, Gary, the better the art on any concert poster, the more cool the art, the more compelling and legendary art, the harder it is to find a mint one because everybody put it up. Girlfriends and wives and kids said, "Hey, Dad, put up that lion poster." And so in the 60s, they were all put up. And so to find one that was basically in a flat file for half a century is really almost unheard of.
Yeah,
and so here's our 9.8.
It's stunning.
Yeah. Now here's a poster artist who is often considered the best San Francisco concert, maybe the most popular for sure, and that's Rick Griffin.
Oh, yeah.
And here's a beautiful Country Joe and the Fish poster from Hawaii. And the poster itself is really rare. This is a progressive color proof, and there you have the famous signature by Mr. Griffin. Yeah.
Great artist.
Yeah.
A sense of humor besides his great psychedelic artwork. He just was so darn clever.
Yeah, and he did, of course, the Flying Eyeball poster we've already shown you by Jimi Hendrix, and you can see the similarities in the type style that he was developing up there. And, it's really fun to look at all the things down here at the feet, and to have it signed in high contrast like that by Rick Griffin is just the cat's meow.
Stunning.
Very special piece, yeah. And the hits just keep on coming. It's not like we've, even done the best yet. It's like everything's just so great. That's what's so special about this. A round poster. Wow. My goodness.
From the club
Kaleidoscope. Yeah, in Hollywood.
Didn't last a real long time, but they had a lot of interesting round posters and the great bands.
And this is, of course, the #1, Kaleidoscope #1, and it's the Dead in the Airplane. What a great way to debut with a club, right?
Yeah.
And that circular psychedelic art. And then you got it in the 9.5s again, 9.6. Crazy, beautiful grade for this. And hot pink, how could you beat hot pink on a concert poster,
It just works.
It just works, that is so right. So let's transition in almost shocking style to good old telephone pole posters, window cards, boxing style, and this talent lineup at Carnegie Hall is just absolutely crazy from the 1950s. Look at this. Can you imagine going to a show with both Billie Holiday and John Coltrane? I would just sit in my seat for an hour or two after it ended.
Yeah, your mouth would be hanging open going, what did I just see?
Oh, I just saw Ray Charles warm up for them is what I just saw.
Not to mention Thelonious Monk and Sonny Rollins.
Yeah, okay, so we won't.
Okay.
But, and of course, the prestigious venue, my goodness, Carnegie Hall. This is a very special, very rare. You never see this. Once in a while, we've had the handbill. You never see the poster. Just a killer jazz and blues piece. Billy's half blues.
Special attraction, Ray Charles.
Yeah, look at that. Just amazing. Beautiful window card. Really rare. So we expect great things from that, absolutely. So, you got psych or you got cardboard? Let's do a couple more cardboards if you only have psych over there, Gary.
I've only got psych.
Okay, let's do a couple more of these while we're on a board roll.
One of my favorites.
Woo, are you kidding? This might be the best concert poster of the 1950s. Alan Freed's Big Beat Caravan Tour with no less than Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Buddy Holly and the Crickets. And pictures on all, song titles on all. Alan Freed was Mr. Rock and Roll in the 50s without exaggeration. And I think there's 5 of these known to exist from different cities.
Right.
Not 5 from Akron, Ohio, which this is. There's only 5 from different cities. People just didn't save stuff in the 50s. They had no vision that this stuff would be collectible. And so they're just impossible to find, and we're so thrilled. We sold one of these from another city once, Gary, over $100 grand. Remember that?
I know.
Yeah. So
I was there on the phone.
I'm sure you were.
It was
and
very
of course,
exciting.
we got to, we can't go through the whole poster, but Frankie Lyman, are you kidding? Of the teenagers, and just so much. I love the way Buddy Holly and the Crickets are sort of divided into 2 different artists, getting some good mileage there. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful window card. So rare, so cool, valuable. That just cooks right along. This is all, of course, the David Swartz concert poster collection coming up on May 11th, which is a Thursday. We often have things on the weekend, so be sure to mark your calendar for Thursday, May 11th, and it's at ha.com/7306. Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't I just saying 10s kind of don't exist?
There it is, right there.
Well, then it's from the
can
70s.
happen.
It's from the 70s or 80s, right? 1960s on this? I can't quite read the date there. 68. I should have known. Torrance, California, of all places, near LAX. And there they are, though, the Dead. And Big Mama Thornton, you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
What
Perfect
a show.
10. Yeah, what a show. And, you know, people sometimes say with collectibles, we'll find another. What we can do with the grade is say, we'll find another. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, this is spectacular. And
yeah.
what an unusual, taking the dinosaurs and throwing in there like that. That's just wonderful.
Yeah, and 2 pictures of the Dead up there. You got Mickey Hart on drums and Jerry Garcia. So it's a fun poster that works. It's cool beans. Oh, you can go ahead and take that one.
What do you got?
Well, I've got one of the true masterpieces in political and pop culture history on window card and concert poster. And we put this on the back cover of Mr. Swartz's catalog because this is an amazing piece. Who of any age, anybody over 50, who has not known, and lots of people under 50, that Marilyn Monroe seductively sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to John F. Kennedy at Madison Square Garden in '62. Up until a few years ago, I had never known there was a poster even made. And David Swartz has one. We're putting it in this auction. And look at Marilyn Monroe's name, luckily, is on the poster, along with, this is top flight. This, you know what I put in the description, Gary? This is almost as talented. This is as talented as the Woodstock concert poster from '69 with the Hendrix and Joplin and everything. This is the '62 equivalent. You've got just big names in Hollywood, stage and screen here. And they're all there to support the president with a great picture of him.
Yeah, Judy Garland and Peggy Lee, Ella Fitzgerald, Bobby Darin, and then got comedian Jack Benny's on there.
Crazy, yeah.
Jimmy Durante.
Nichols and May. Let's not forget Mike Nichols went on to direct The Graduate and everything.
That's right.
They were a comedy pair at the time, and they were all there to just John F. Kennedy's 45th birthday was 10 days away, but it's a red, white, and blue window card. There's the handbill occasionally. The concert poster, I think there's 2 known to exist, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just, it's why we gave it the whole back cover of the catalog. It will appeal to music people, entertainment people, political people, but maybe most important of all, the general landscape of pop culture and Americana. is going to want this poster.
It's an important poster.
Very important and also at the same time light, fun, and entertaining.
Oh gosh,
It's
yes.
not like a speech, you know, it's not like the Gettysburg Address poster or something. It's just, you know, she was wearing a skin-tight dress. Mrs. Kennedy was not at the occasion. And I don't know, the description will carry all the backstory. It's really fun, but this is just, this is just an amazing piece, absolutely. Gary, how about if I put up one for you? Because you were lucky enough to see this tour. I wish I could have.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That started it all. That was my very first concert in '64. Cost me $1.25 for center front row. Walked in and the lady says, sit wherever you want. Maybe 200 people.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And what a show.
Second American tour, the Rolling Stones, the fall of '64. This is from Dayton, Ohio. Gary saw them in San Diego, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Dayton, Ohio, and only 2 or 3, maybe 400 people showed up. It's hard for us to fathom. But this was the window card, of course, they printed in advance in red, white, and blue, and then somebody for Hera Arena or the promoter just wrote in all the information there. But this is really a key Stone. Any Stones concert poster from '64 in America, it's like get out of town. There's hardly any of them.
Super rare. We've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing it for a long, long time with my shop and all that. Being in California, never had one walk in the door.
No, they just don't turn up. Once the Stones hit it big in '65 with Satisfaction and stuff like that, more posters, more savers and everything.
Sure.
In '64, I mean, look at the 2 great publicity pictures rather, shot in London. And the design, I just like the funkiness of the lettering and it's very pop culture-ish, even in '64. So this is a real favorite, and Stones fans just freak out for this.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Really happy.
Poster.
David Swartz collection, of course, has one. There's very little he doesn't seem to have. What you got there, Gary?
Well, we got a real important poster here.
Oh my goodness.
We got the Who, the Trogs, and the MC5. And it is just stunning. And not a West Coast poster. What can you tell me about the posters from this venue?
Well, the Grande Ballroom in Detroit, as promoted by Russ Gibb, and designed by Gary Grimshaw. And this was the last date, actually, of the Who's tour in 1968. They went back to England the next day. But it's just amazing to get this in 9.8 condition. Fantastic. And you just have to love the picture of the Who there before they got all serious with Tommy and Who's Next and everything. And of course, much longer hair. And it's just and Mr. Swartz, whose collection this belongs to, is the world's greatest Who collector, both posters and everything else. And so it was very generous of him, and they've got more coming, to cough up a couple of great Who pieces. But that shows how serious this collection is.
Oh yeah, and the color. Can you imagine that framed in your office or your living room? That just looks so cool.
Yeah, it certainly does.
What else you got?
Well, why don't we segue?
Oh.
Huh? Let us segue
More
from the Who to the Who. Oh my goodness. So this is '69, 1 year after that poster. Look at that action shot of Pete Townsend jumping in the air and attacking his guitar. And this is the Boston Tea Party, Boston, Massachusetts, which David is from originally, the Boston area. So he's got a great collection of Tea Party posters. And 9.4 because it's pictured in the Art of Rock. And they were playing all of Tommy at this point, weren't they?
Yes, they were. I saw them in 1970 hit San Diego, and they'd open up with They opened up with Heaven and Hell, John Entwistle's song.
Sure.
Played a few greatest hits, and then they introduced Tommy, and just we sat there just going, I was sixth row. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, you were 6th row in '70. I was 2nd row in '71. So I don't know which I would trade for which. But yeah, anybody who was lucky enough to see the Who back then saw them do most of the album. There were always a couple songs which wouldn't translate to concert.
Right.
But anyway, the poster itself, the Boston Tea Party stuff, they were sort of designed in a minimalist fashion and with a very much anti-San Francisco attitude almost. It's like, well, we're not going to make ours all colorful and psychedelic. We're going to have our own thing going here. And as you'll see from this and a couple of examples, it's simple and to the point, but rare. I mean, the San Francisco posters, Bill Graham and Chet Helms knew to print them en masse and then sell them for years to come for a couple bucks each. The Tea Party didn't do that. They just printed an advertising quantity and that was it. And so they're very hard to find.
Yeah, they never show up. I've never seen this, only the picture in the book until we got this piece in.
Good point.
This is really a great piece.
Yeah, and everybody stuck them up because of the great Townsend pictures. So to get one in 9.4 condition is just amazing. And that starts sort of a little run here we want to show you of Boston Tea Party posters that David has contributed. Thank you, Gary. How's this for visuals? I just think this is pretty funny. Tim Buckley, the folk singer or folk rocker, was he on Elektra Records, Gary? I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, along with Judy Collins and a few others.
Phillips.
This is Tim at the Boston Tea Party, Tim Buckley. It's these are just rare. Down there it says also the Naz. Well, the Naz.
Todd Rundgren.
Exactly. And they had released Hello, It's Me already, the group version. So you know they sang Hello, It's Me at these shows.
And of course, Open My Eyes, one of the best psychedelic songs ever.
Mm-hmm, sure. And then Rundgren went solo and re-recorded Hello, It's Me in 1973 and had a big hit with it. But anyway, this is a fun, rare Boston Tea Party poster, as is this one. And, you know, the nicer headliners, but it's a nice poster for another reason. Hey, that's not a bad sentence.
Oh, yeah, you've got the Allman Brothers, early Allman Brothers.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
With Duane.
Oh, my gosh.
Masterpiece.
1969, touring off their first album. Can you imagine seeing, you know, the Allman Brothers touring off their first album as the opening act? And so it's just really, in fact, they're not even pictured on the poster, which is nuts. So it's...
And the nice was, you know, most people didn't know them until they became Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they had the similar sound with the Nice, but the songs didn't catch on yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe too early.
Yeah, maybe so. That often happens. So Boston Tea Party continued. Here's a key piece from the Tea Party. Oh my gosh. Pink Floyd. Look at the basic simplicity of the design on that. In case you haven't caught it, this is where all the information is up the right-hand side in that white strip. This thing is so rare. The Tea Party just printed whatever they needed to stick around town, you know, and that was it, apparently.
It was a small venue. They didn't have to sell a lot of tickets like some other bigger venues, so they didn't have to make a lot of posters.
Yeah.
Just where they were selling tickets. Maybe they were selling, you know, 10, a dozen places around town. Who knows? Nobody kept track of that.
Yeah, that probably sounds about right, but just, you know, that red color is so Oops, did I say compelling Boston Tea Party concert poster? This is the one around Heritage, which has knocked out people, and they go, "Are you kidding me?" Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, the zaniest guy in rock history, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great rock sense of humor.
I don't know where they got the rights to it, but they took the Mona Lisa, and by just embellishing with eyebrows and a goatee, that looks a lot like Frank Zappa.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is so rare. The poster is so rare. You know, I put it in the bio. I forget the owner of the Boston Tea Party. He should have pulled a Bill Graham and printed like 5,000 of these. He could have sold them for years at $5 or $10 each.
Oh yeah. Just for anybody that sees it, immediately gets a grin on their face. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was going to say, I wonder how the poster artist got the permission from the Louvre to use the Mona Lisa. Forget about it.
Yeah,
back then nobody cared.
No,
I mean, you had Mouse and Kelly using the Zigzag Man and stuff like that. They just appropriated images. And what's funny, look at that, Gary. Robin, the poster artist, put her name on the Mona Lisa's finger way down there. No last name. Maybe she didn't want to be sued. But anyway, that just raises eyebrows, just like Frank has the eyebrows there.
Oh yeah.
So
again, stunning condition as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's just fantastic.
But not graded because it's not in the Art of Rock book, whereas this is Jethro Tull on the Stand Up Tour in '69 at the Boston Tea Party. Look at that smacking 9.8 grade.
Oh yeah, that iridescent look from down below looking up at him singing like that.
Yeah.
That's a great shot to use for a concert poster.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, Ian Anderson pictured there at the mic in the action shot. And just imagine, you know, they were already recording Benefit. And here they're playing stuff from Stand Up, and this poster is just so rare, and then you get a 9.8 grade. It's like, wow, David Swartz, living near Boston, really put his heart into collecting Tea Party posters, and it really shows with this sale. I'm not jaded, but I'm really experienced, so I don't get amazed too easily. And I have just been amazed, especially at this Boston Tea Party collection.
For us to see this many posters in these conditions, for the we just don't see it.
That's
we
right.
see a lot of really great stuff all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but various conditions. These are just, as you can see, superb.
I've got two Boston Tea Parties left. I don't know which to close with, but take a look at this. The Grateful Dead, the most collectible band, arguably. Well, there's the Beatles and Stones and stuff, but maybe the most, well, Hendrix, one of the most collectible people on post. 9.8 from the Boston Tea Party, with an image totally in the face of the San Francisco psychedelic poster artists. You had Rick Griffin drawing oxamoxas and everything. And here they just use a beautiful naked model with her arms crossed on her chest. And
It got the point. You got your attention. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted this in a window. You looked, you saw there was a concert, you wanted to go.
yeah, exactly. And she grabs the attention, absolutely, even in black and white like that. And to have it 9.8, when you never see the poster, I mean, I've never seen the poster come in all wrinkled and torn up and you never
No
see the
condition
poster
at all.
Yeah, you just don't see the poster. And so 9.8 shows that these came, for only the David Swartz collection would have something like this in this kind of condition. So we're tickled. Don't forget, this is Thursday, May 11th for the David Swartz concert
This will
poster
be the
collection.
first day of a 4-day auction. So be
Yeah.
prepared. Have your running shoes on. This is going to be a great, great bunch of stuff.
So everybody has a different favorite. I don't know. I'm just closing the little Boston Tea Party segment with, can you say January 1969 for Led Zeppelin? Their first album had been out like 5 days. So WBCN in Boston was starting to play it, good times, bad times, and all that. And here they are. I mean, graphically it's a very simple poster, but it is such an important thing in Led Zeppelin history and in Boston Tea Party poster circles,
It's the beginning, right after they had been the new Yardbirds for a brief time after the Yardbirds disassembled, and they had a couple of more concerts that they had to fulfill, then bam, here they are back with a whole new sound.
Right. And Jimmy Page is quoted, I put it in the description online and in the catalog. Jimmy Page said, after these shows, closing night, Peter Grant ran around, their manager, hugging everybody and crying, saying, "You crushed it, we're going to kill it as a band." And Jimmy Page said, we knew that weekend that we had arrived. And so it's just talk about a special and rare poster. Heritage has never had it. I don't know if I've seen it in another auction. Just a gorgeous.
I've never seen it before.
Yeah, so there's 20 altogether, by the way. The David Swartz concert poster collection has 20 Boston Tea Parties. And so we've just shown you a smattering there. Gare, what do you got up next?
Well, we're going up to another size here, but what a stunning poster.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Help me a little bit there. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there we go. That's just amazing. It's just such a wild favorite. I mean, Blue Rose, right? It's the Blue Rose concert poster.
Yeah.
It's the closing of Winterland, and there's a certain somebody in this room that was at the show, Gary. Yes, and I even stayed till breakfast at dawn, I'm happy to say.
I would expect no less.
And it was New Year's Eve, 1978-79, so I was 6 years old. No, but look at this is ridiculous. This is like the flying eyeball. You've got beautiful signatures. Let's see, by Kelly and Mouse over here in gold, and you have the 9.8 grade on a beautiful, super popular poster. It's just it's a jaw dropper, is what
And
it is.
look at the opening band.
The Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers.
Yes, John Belushi and Danny Aykroyd.
Can you imagine the vibe that night with them opening up, getting everybody going, and then the Dead came on?
Gary,
Wow.
I don't have to imagine
That's
the
right,
vibe.
you were there. How was it, Pete?
Oh, the
Was it
vibe
good
was
for you?
amazing. It was good for me, yeah. I seem to remember the breakfast. The scrambled eggs were a little weak. They could have been better. And the toast was a little cold. But no, and then NRPS, of course. But the Blues Brothers had a #1 album themselves.
Yeah.
Belushi and Aykroyd actually took that all the way to a Briefcase of Blues, I think, or
Yes.
something. Yeah. So, but it's a masterpiece of a concert poster, and to have it in 9.8 is just nuts. You've got another beautiful grade down there, Gary.
Yes, I do. And we have another 9.8.
Yes. Wow, Edwardian Ball. Look at that.
Yeah.
This might be the most popular and beautiful Jefferson Airplane concert poster ever. Look at that art. It's magnificent.
Yeah, and look at that autograph on there.
Mm-hmm.
You might think it's part of the art, but you got to look close. It's Stanley Mouse's signature, but very, very over the top.
Yeah, he loves to. He doesn't just sign; he doodles, and it's a beautiful doodle signature by Stanley Mouse, and that killer grade of 9.8, just absolutely woo, you know. And a year ago, we sold a 9.6 of this poster for $19,000, and here's a 9.8. That's a step up from that. So people are really appreciating the best of psychedelic poster art, and it's really showing in our sales. Just amazing. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
So, Tommy, I don't know if you have room for a big one here, but we'll try. Tommy's our wonderful video producer there. And does this all get in the frame?
Yep.
Okay. The Grateful Dead at the Anderson Theater in New York City for a Hell's Angels benefit show. And take a look at that motorcycle in the middle. We got the fluorescent yellow skeleton, and you know, on the tombstones you've got the date and the time and everything. This poster's been bootlegged and reproed a lot, and this is a stone original printed before the show. Of course, the David Swartz collection has nothing but, doesn't have any repros. Just so you can see how big it is. Just a really compelling Grateful Dead concert poster. And so many people, they want a Dead poster outside of San Francisco. They want one that's, you know, San Francisco is great, but it's like, okay, where else can we go? In New York.
Yeah, and it's so unique that it's to do with the Hells Angels, well, the very famous motorcycle gang of the time, and just spectacular having him in the header.
Yeah, yeah, it was the Dead down underneath. It's and a tombstone artwork and everything is wonderful. Well, let's look at another Dead poster from outside of San Francisco, and this one, is Fort Worth. I was going to say Dallas. I wanted to get it right. Look at this beauty from Panther Hall in Fort Worth, Texas. Look at that artwork with tombstones again.
Yeah.
The best concert poster artists love to play off the Dead's name and put Dead elements, you know, in their posters. And look, the eyes have a nuclear bomb and a peace sign, sort of yin and yang, you know.
And you got a rocket here in the nose, and you've got these birds drawn into there. The more you look at it, the more you see. I love those type of posters.
Yes, absolutely. 1971 on this one, and the grade is a killer, I guess, plays into the theme. We've been, the 9.6 is just gorgeous for just a beautiful, look at those day glow colors too, that red and orange, the way that pops off there. To get this in a 9.5 like this, 9.6, is just a fabulous opportunity, a wonderful poster.
And the venues listed out on the poster where you could get the tickets.
Yeah, look at all that detail down below. We love detail in our posters too. So this is such a beauty, such a sweet piece, one of my personal favorites. But now this one is not graded because it is not in the Art of Rock book, but it is an absolutely beautiful Janis Joplin, 1969, Ann Arbor, Michigan, psychedelic concert poster on cardboard, and it's silk screened.
Yeah.
You can see, Gary, how they would just, you know, it's so obviously silk screened, but look at those colors.
Yeah, it just jumps out at you. It's almost a 3D effect. It just pops.
Yeah,
What
it's
a
just
amazing piece.
amazing piece, just absolutely wonderful. And I just, you know, I love this robin's egg blue and the bright day glow orange and the lettering. You know, it's just it's a Midwestern masterpiece is what it is, and it's just not graded because it's not in the Art of Rock, but this is such a sweet Janis Joplin concert poster when, of course, she was a solo act. So, okay, so I'll just put it here on the table.
Okay.
And I wanted to show you this beauty from a little later in the 70s. We're getting a little later here, 1977. Gary, what do you know about Flying Pigs?
Well, the Animals tour, you know, this was just a big tour because Pink Floyd had developed this big balloon of a pig that they would fly over the concert. And a few times the pig got away from them. Can you imagine this floating through the sky and the airlines comes by, hey, Bill, you see that out the window?
The Chinese would shoot it down, I imagine.
Yeah.
And you just got to love this, the Bay Area graphics with the Golden Gate Bridge, signed by the poster artist Randy Tootin, 9.8 grade, just amazing. Just a perfect presentation of this really popular poster.
That's perfect.
Yeah, of
It's
Pink
just
Floyd.
wonderful.
Just amazing.
A piece Americana. here we have a wonderful contract from 1957, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, even including Norm Petty, their manager. And look at with Coral Records across the top, all dated. And the autographs look like they were signed just recently. They're so vibrant. It was kept out of the light for years and years. And that's how you really get great autographs like this on really important documents. What do you have there, Pete?
Well, it's another Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, to say the least, I guess is how we'd put it. But this is a 1966 signed contract by Jimi Hendrix, way before fame, so, well, at least a year before fame. So he signed it Jimmy. And it's for one of the first songs he ever wrote, one of the first two compositions he wrote and recorded, and it's for just a small record label when Jimmy was playing guitar with Curtis Knight and the Squires. And there it is, a really good, solid autograph. It's not touching on any others, and that's Jerry Simon down there. But it's just really, boy, if you want it early, I was thinking he hadn't given probably a single autograph yet at this point in '66, unless some teenager saw the Squires and wanted everybody's signature or something.
Never seen him show up or anything. Nobody's ever offered an auction. Probably not. It could be one of the earliest autographs to do with music and writing.
I think so. Yeah, to see that.
I think it's important.
Yeah. Oh, it's very important. Very familiar with Jimmy. Penmanship, if you will, but it's Jimmy, and the fact it's on a contract and all the details we have, these are super real McCoys, and it's just it's a wallop of a pair right here with these two contracts. So, Gary, if you take those down,
these two pieces will also be in the same auction with the posters from David Schwartz's collection.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Even though it's the David Schwartz concert poster collection, we are including some of these non-concert posters because they're so great and they're part of David's collection of auction number 7306. So once again, we're back to the Stones in '64.
Just spectacular. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Sacramento, California handbill. Tons of great fun information on the handbill. But it is signed above their heads.
Yeah, somebody wrote all over it. Can you imagine it?
I can't imagine that. Somebody wrote it. Just Mick and Keith. That's all, and lovely, quiet Bill Wyman in the middle. But it's already it's one of the best Stones American handbills, period. I mean, look at all that fun information down below the picture. But to have it been signed by Mick and Keith, it's such a collector's item. It's so great.
Standing on the rooftop, and you can see that it's really wet because of the reflection there. It's a very unique photo.
Yeah. So great early Stones piece. And then, so that is '64. We go to only the next year for Psychedelia already, and that's because this was such an early seminal piece, a family dog piece from late 1965, a tribute to Ming the Merciless. And this handbill is so rare, Gary, that the experts in the hobby, I guess of which were included, but I always consult others. It's like maybe 5 known among even all the heavies and everybody. It was just produced in small quantities. The musical talent was the Charlatans, of course, and at Longshoremen's Hall in San Francisco, the Family Dog had 3 seminal early events. Tribute to Dr. Strange, and then, of course, there was Sparkle Plenty, and this is Ming the Merciless.
And don't forget the Mothers.
Oh, yeah. Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
Early.
In fact, they're listed above the Charlatans. That's right.
So this possibly would have been before Freak Out even came out.
Yeah, maybe so. 65. That's crazy. Yeah. So, a couple of real seminal bands there with Zappa and the Charlatans. But just a rare, rare handbill. On the back, there's a map drawn and everything, but it doesn't matter. Nobody has this. No psychedelic collections have this except 3 or 4. And so we're just so pleased that David Schwartz parted with this one for the auction.
As far as the Matrix goes, how early of a rock show was this at the Matrix?
Well, that's a good point, because Marty Ballin, of course, was a co-owner of the Matrix, and they only started in the summer of '65 with folk rock.
Right.
But Matrix is where the tickets were being sold. The event was actually held at Longshoremen's Hall at Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah.
Matrix is where you bought the tickets.
6th, so it would have been a few months after Marty had started it.
Sure.
Very cool.
So let's put in a couple of more little pieces here. It's FD1 handbill, signed by Wes Wilson in 9.8, and a Trips Festival. small poster from January of 1966. I mean, collectors, you and I could just sit there like this, Gary, and just go, lean back. We don't have to say anything.
And it is what it is.
Yeah, collector.
Number one, 9.8.
Signed by Wes.
Family dog.
So
signed.
messed up. Yeah, airplane.
Yeah.
You know, a
just,
tribal
it
stomp.
just works. Big
just
brother.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that stuff's, you know, FD 1s, 2s, 3s, BG. If you get 9, you're doing good. So how we got 9.8, I don't know. And then, of course, you've got this fun, crazy artwork on the Trips Festival. And, you know, the Dead played, of course, so it's a Grateful Dead piece. And it's 9.0, which is anything in the 9s is just great. And it's definitely for posting. It's blank on the back. So, even though they're black and white, there was no budget back then. There was no money in psychedelic rock or anything. It was this, you know, it was all starving artists.
It was the love of the music. People wanted to be part of it. It was such exciting times. There's so much stuff was coming out so fast every week with all these different bands in every city across the U.S.
Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young from the Fillmore and Winterland, from San Francisco venues, both graded 9.8. Take a look at these, Gary. These are
great. You got this stunning artwork here that just jumps off the poster. Look at the brightness of it. And there's your, you know, peace and love right there.
That's right. Hippies all the way.
It's
yeah.
There.
Woodstock ethos.
With yours, having 4 individual pictures of this unbelievable band.
Yeah.
Just great.
It's interesting the way Randy Tootin did opt for photographs of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young instead of artwork like that one. Neil's picture steals the day. I mean, he just looks wonderful. But, you know, I saw CSNY in the 60s. I often brag about that. November 69 in Santa Barbara. But these are both CSNY in the 60s. That they were so young and fresh and seminal, no bickering yet or anything. And here's 2 9.8 posters. Just beautiful part of the sale.
Yeah, love them.
And we're closing this video with the biggest piece in the auction size-wise. Take a look at this, the bus sign for the Woodstock Music Festival.
How many of these were kept? Can you imagine the ones that were on buses? They got torn and tattered and
dirty,
rained. And here's one in this kind of condition like this. You know, another big piece of history.
Absolutely.
With all these bands listed like this. It's just a stunning poster. Yeah,
it's safe to say it's the most famous weekend in the history of rock and roll. And the lineup on here is just incredible with, you know, the Dead and the Who and everybody like that. And it's a horizontal layout with the same Arnold Skolnick graphics as the vertical red paper poster. But this is horizontal and it's very thick cardboard to withstand the elements on the side of a bus.
It's a heavy piece.
It's
something that people will be very pleased to have on their wall. This is just, it's a piece that you can talk about. You got great bragging rights with this poster. If you own this, anybody that comes to your office or your house will look at this going, where did you get that? Well, do I have a story for you?
Yeah, Heritage has had this poster once before, and it was used on the side of a bus, and so it had to be repaired heavily and everything, and that's still fine and works, but this is an unused one. And so it was just in a warehouse, you know, and so look at the condition on this one. I mean, of course, a little bit of browning around the edges, who cares, but it's in beautiful shape. It's Woodstock, it's Hendrix and everybody else. And it's one of the centerpieces of the David Swartz concert poster collection.
Yeah, I love it.
And we can't wait for this to hammer along with all the others. So this has been really fun. Thanks for stopping by and watching a portion of the David Swartz concert poster collection.
You can go to our website and take a look at everything now. And Pete has come up with just incredible stories and descriptions on each poster that, you know, you'll learn a lot. Just going through there, it's like reading a book. It's fabulous.
Thanks, Gary. But it is a 4-day auction, May 11 through 14. But David's stuff is on Thursday, May 11. So be sure to tune in. Again, like Gary said, ha.com/7306, and we will see you there.
Thanks a lot.